My name's Sarah Brownsword, for those of you who don't know me. I'm Miss Brownsword on Twitter. I'm a Year 6 teacher at Halesworth Middle School in Suffolk. I'm going to talk to you about something called Inanimate Alice. Now, Inanimate Alice is a digital story which is online at www.inanimatealice.com. It's completely free, anybody can use it. And it's basically the story of a girl called Alice and her imaginary friend Brad, who kind of lives inside this digital player thing that she's got, and she's created this character Brad, and he's her friend throughout the story. The story is in 4 parts, so I don't know if you can see that, it's quite small, but there's episode 1, they live in China, episode 2 is in Italy, episode 3 in Russia, and episode 4, they move to England. In the first episode, Alice is 8 years old, and she grows up throughout the episodes. And as Alice grows, the story grows with her, and it becomes more and more interactive. So it's a story that you can read, there's text in it, but there's also pictures, moving pictures, there's sound, there's music, and there are also interactive activities. So, for example, in episode 2, there are 2 puzzles that the children have to solve in order to continue in the story. And in episode 3, which I'm going to show you some of in a moment, there's a game that runs throughout the story. So in order to progress through the story, the children also have to take part in this game. So what I did in my class is we read the 4 episodes and we talked about it in the same way that we would any other printed story. So we looked at characters and we looked at setting and plot and all those kind of things. And then we also looked at how this was different to printed fiction. So we looked at the differences between digital fiction and printed fiction. And then the challenge that I set my class was to write the next episode of Inanimate Alice, which they did using PowerPoint, and they did really, really well. So what I'm going to do now is show you a little bit of episode 3, so you get an idea of what Inanimate Alice is. And then I'm going to show you an episode that my children wrote in my class. If this downloads quickly, which it's not going to, is it? Okay, while that's downloading, I'll just explain a little bit more about what I actually did with the children. And a lot of the ideas that I got for using this in my class came from this wiki, which has been created by a primary school in Australia, I think it is, Pascoe Vale Primary School. And they've used Inanimate Alice in their classrooms, and what they've done is create a website with ideas on how to use it in the classroom. So there's examples of their students' work, there's unit plans on there, and there's links to lots of other places where you can get ideas for using digital fiction in their class. Okay, nearly there. Here we go. I'm not going to show you all of it because it takes about 15 minutes to watch the whole thing. So this is episode 3. that appear throughout all the stories that she's created. This is a kind of example of one of the games that the children have to play while they read the stories. In this particular one, if you do the actual game version of it, in each part of the story you have to collect a little Russian doll. If you don't collect all the dolls, it comes to a crucial part in the story and you can't actually continue and find out what happens next unless you go back and collect all those dolls. So it's a story, but there's a game element in there as well. Okay, I'm just going to stop that and just show you what two of the girls in my class created as the next episode. Obviously they haven't got music on this because it's just something, actually it's not finished, but also they've created it in PowerPoint. So one of the things that I tried to get them to do was to make sure they had all the elements that were in the original story. So, but they weren't allowed to just copy it from the story, so they had to take their own things and create their own brands. And I need to shut up because Tim's waving a camel at me.
Sorry.
So yes, there you go, Inanimate Alice. It's really good for not just, I mean, I'm Key Stage 2, but I know that there are teachers that are using it in Key Stage 3, and I've even seen university students using it as well. So there you go.
Thank you.